So first, I want to make a note that it's really important that you use foundational elements and tools together in your strategy. You've got your website, which is your online hub, your email marketing, your social media, and then text. It's not either or for these tools. You really need to be using them together, which is a common mistake that I think myself as well as David, you tend to find. So let's dive in and let's talk about some of these individual tools and the things that you want to review in your approach. And we'll start with the website. What are the metrics you'd want to pay attention to here in order to know how your website is performing and what might you need to change?
So your website is your number one marketing tool. Without a website, you frankly almost don't exist. And anybody who's considering doing business with you will look you up online. And aside from having different online profiles and so on, your website is where everything happens because everything links back to your website. So the primary tool to measure performance of your website is Google Analytics. It's a free tool from Google that's relatively easy to install. And it tells you everything you wanted to know about the traffic on your website. How much are you getting? The type of traffic, is it organic? Is it paid? Is it referral? It's telling you about bounce rate, meaning how many people come to the website and just leave right away. And conversions, there are tools that let you know how many conversions there are. And a conversion is the sale of a product. If you're an e-commerce business, someone calls you up from the website, someone fills out a form. That is basic data. It's your online dashboard that's telling you how the website is performing. And it's something that you should be monitoring on a pretty regular basis to see how things are going. Keep in mind that your website needs to make a good first impression. People will judge your company based on how you look online. Again, you could be the best business around, but if your website looks like it was built 10 years ago or a fifth grader put it together, that will reflect poorly on your business, and it may be a huge deterrent from getting your phone to ring.
And we do have a really helpful guide that our team has put together. If you'd like to learn more about setting that up and creating those tracking links in there. Let's talk a little bit about email marketing as well. What are some of the metrics you'd want to pay attention to and how you know what's working here and what's not working here?
Most people, I think, are familiar with the concept of opens and clicks. Opens is how many people open the email, both as a number and as a percentage, and the clicks is how many people clicked on a link in your email. Opens provides, I would call it directional information to let you know, is the trend going up, is it going down? And clicks are actually a better measure of engagement because it's people who are actually engaging with the email and clicking to things most likely linked to your website. Again, once they're on the website, look at conversions. Are they buying from you? Are they downloading things and things like that? The other thing to keep in mind with email marketing is segmenting. And Constant Contact has a terrific tool that allows you to either manually segment people or to use automation to segment people. So if people are clicking your email, let's say you sell sweaters, and people are clicking on the blue sweater, you then put all these people who clicked on the sweater in a separate list, and you might want to follow up with them with a special promotion for people who didn't buy yet to buy that sweater. That's a very simple example, but all of this technology is in place at Constant Contact, and it's in their system that allows you just to really give more power to your email list, because the moment you segment it, you can be more specific in your communication with your list. Other things to look at very carefully, I call these the negative things. Look at your unsubscribes. If it's going up, it means there's an issue with your campaign. Typically, unsubscribe rate goes up when the frequency is too high or there is no value in the emails. Meaning, if you send too frequently, people are bugged by that. Don't do that. And the value is the content in the email. If it's only self-serving, you're not giving value in terms of information or things like that, people will say, hey, you're a nice person, but I don't see value in the email, so please don't send to me again. Bounces is another thing to look at very carefully. Bounces are for email addresses that are no longer valid. Constant Contact gives you information about that. And for email addresses that are no longer valid, you should remove those email addresses from the list. It's called data hygiene. It's just a way of making sure that your list is clean. The cleaner it is, the less bounces you have, the higher deliverability and results you're going to get. Consider making sure that you also have frequency. For most businesses, once, maybe twice a month is the right frequency. Once you go up from there, you might start getting a higher unsubscribe rate. And lastly, test things. Test your subject line, test the offer. You know, Consecanta has this terrific A/B test tool that allows you to test, for example, 2 different subject lines, and automatically the better performing subject line will be applied to the remaining email addresses that are not in the A/B test. Smart approach, basic thing to do. Consider doing it. It can only help your email program.
Lots of great things to look at there. Let's talk about social media, because this is important as well, as you should be using it together with all of these other tools. What are the metrics that are best to pay attention to for social media?
So I'll start out by saying a word of caution. So there are 2 worlds in social media. There is the quote free social media, where you are posting on your page. Doesn't cost anything except for time. But keep in mind that only about 10%, if not less, of people who like a page will see those posts. The other type of posting on social media is done through ads. It's a pay-to-play program. That's how, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or X or so on, make their money. And the ads, which I mentioned earlier, are a smart way to target people for whatever you're offering, whatever you're looking to fundraise, and so on. That said, the main measures in a social media campaign is engagement. Are people liking and sharing and commenting? Those are indication that people are interested in what you have to post. You want to look at your follower growth. Is it going up? Is it going down? The more followers you get, the higher the rate of growth is, the more value people are seeing in that program. In the program we manage with our clients, both on the paid side and the free side, it's really a question of frequency. You know, we have clients who come in and say, oh, I'd like to post maybe once a week. And I say, you know, once a week is not going to cut it. You really need to be posting multiple times a week for any material impact for your business on social media. And on the paid side, it can be a little hairy to set it up and know how to structure it. But again, the number of ads running and making sure that the best performing ad works better is an important thing to consider in social media.
Great. Let's move on and talk about text or SMS, which is really another essential tool that helps you to reach your audience. Really, this is for your most timely messages, and often these people can be considered your VIP subscribers. What do you recommend reviewing here in terms of your strategy and analytics?
So text marketing is perfect for what I call quick action items. So let's say you are a bakery, right? And at the end of the day, you have some leftover items that you need to get rid of, otherwise they have to be trashed. So what if you sent a text to your text list and say, hey, come in by 6 p.m. and you get every item in the store at half off. So that'll have an immediate impact on your sales because you're gonna have a whole rush of people coming in buying those items. Things to look at, similar to email, your click rate, unsubscribe, what kind of conversions you're getting, what kind of bounces are you getting for invalid numbers, pretty basic stuff. Text marketing, maybe a little bit more complex to implement and know how to use, but the results are very quick and immediate. Smart approach.
Great. So in the end, I think a couple of things you want to ask yourself after reviewing all of your information. You've mentioned frequency and cadence, but really, number one, has my marketing been consistent? It's really important for a lot of these channels to make sure you're sending on a regular basis so people remember you and they don't forget they subscribed and gave you their information. That can be a little bit jarring and cause unsubscribes, spam reports, all that stuff. The other question is, are some methods more effective? Is there something where you want to put more resources into certain elements of your marketing, or work to build up something that doesn't seem to be performing as well? And then of course, do I need to add any additional marketing tools is another important approach. You want to make sure you have those 4 foundational elements, which is important. But there might be some other things, and David, you've briefly touched on these things. You've mentioned social media ads, but there's also where you can layer on Google Ads and SEO. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Certainly, sure. So the big difference between Google Ads and SEO is Google Ads is you're paying for an ad to appear at the top of page 1, and the example on the page, you see that a Beamer's only best BMW repair, that's an ad. It's actually marked as an ad. All the other listings below that are organic listings, and those appear there because of the work that is taking place on those websites for Google to rank them highly. Anytime you appear on page 1 of Google, whether it's an ad or organically, it has huge value. I'm sure you've all used it. You typically click on the links on page 1, and that is of high value. A big part of what we do with our clients is the management of Google Ads. We're actually a Google certified partner, which is a pretty hard designation to get. And we have a team of folks that basically do this all day long. And typically clients that start working with us stay with us for years because it works.
I full-heartedly agree. SEO is very important, and it's slow but organic, but really powerful and effective. Now, I know often our marketers are worried about their budget, especially when it comes to spending money or thinking about spending money on ads. So what would you say is a good rule of thumb for how much to spend on your marketing overall, and when you might take this next step to get into running ads?
On average, small businesses tend to spend between 3 and 6% of revenue on marketing. That is a number that will have an impact on your marketing. And one thing to keep in mind is that too many small businesses think that marketing is free because they just use word of mouth marketing or they're posting on social media. That is hampering your growth if that is your approach. Think of large companies. The reason they are large companies is because they have, among other things, done marketing very well. Marketing is investment in the growth of your business, and it's something that will determine the future success.